which is amazing to us coming back from vacation. Now all of a sudden we're in a meeting. So I do want to thank you for taking the time this morning. I want to try to get you out of here as quickly as possible. I know some of you have to go back to work, but I want to also give you as much information as possible. And just for a little bit of understanding of what we're talking about as far as this ambassador parent, I know Ms. Fernandez mentioned to you the idea of what this ambassador parent group is all about. But really it's, you are an extension of our school into the parent community. What we're trying to do is really push the positive things that are happening at Northside with positive information, not only to around your circle of influence, but really around your community and around each of our individual communities. You guys have friends in your communities, neighbors and otherwise, and we want to make sure that we've targeted you as our parents that we feel have been here for a while or have been a part of different groups, elementary, high school, have had children or alumni of the school, that obviously can speak more about the school because you're involved in one way or another. And that's why we had this group initially. Now there's 12 families involved in this group. One of the things that we're going to do, or that we've started with this ambassador group, is we started a new parent reception. And last year was our first year having a new parent reception on our campus. And what we do is we try to invite all of our new families to the school. Why we do that is because when I first came in, this is now starting my third year, but 3 years ago, when my wife was a new parent, there was a misconnect that she didn't connect with anybody right away. And because of that, her advice to me was, we need to have something for the new parents that come to the school to be able to connect with families so that they don't feel by themselves. And that was a very good advice from a wife and a mother, right? So I said, that's what we're going to do. We need to put something together that we can connect our new parents with, that they don't feel alone in this big world of education, private education. Remember that many of these parents come from public schools, right? And they have never been in a private school environment or a private school setting or around a group of of individuals like many of you grew up in private education, some of you did. And the idea is it's a different world, it really is. And how you get around and how you move around, how you speak, who to speak to, how to call, who do I call in certain situations. And we wanted to make sure that we can make that connection. What we do is at this parent reception at the beginning of the year, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, but what we do is we invite all of our new parents. And at that meeting, there's a card laid out for them. That card is laid out just like this. And it's at the table where all the new parents are. And your names and numbers and emails are there. Okay? And the idea last year was, let's put this out in front of our parents. And if they have questions, we share with them at that meeting that they can contact anybody at their level or otherwise. They can contact anybody on this list, depending on maybe they have a little one that they want to put in the AEL or one that they want to put in the elementary, but they're coming in as with a senior high student. So they contact anybody on this list. Well, what we noticed throughout the school year is that they really, as new parents, they have a difficult time picking up their phone and making that initial call and saying, hello, my name is so-and-so, and I'm new to Northside, and I really need your help with this. That was difficult. When we started talking to those parents, it was difficult to make that initial call. So one of the things that we are going to ask of us this year, as far as ambassador groups, is we're going to say the same thing to the parents. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact these folks. But what we're going to ask of you, our ambassador parents, is to make 4 connections with them this year, once a quarter, and really just connect with them and say, is there anything that I can help you with? What we'll do is we'll put a list of those parents together that are more surrounding your area, your group, middle school maybe, or high school, or elementary. And then what we'll do is Tracy will email that information to you, and that way you have those group of parents that you will contact and kind of keep up with and see if they have any questions or if everything's going all right, once a quarter. So 4 times a year, we're trying to make the connection with them and making sure that, hey, is there anything that you need from us? And then at the same time, that gives them now the flexibility. Now they've made a contact because you've contacted them. Now they feel a little bit freer to make that a second call or third call as they need. Ideally, it's through email. Most of that process will happen probably through email once they get that initial connection, because that initial connection is always the most difficult. So that's one of the main things that this ambassador group will be about, is really making connections with our new parents. Inviting them to the coffee with Mr. Fajardo. Inviting them to those kind of meetings, the state of the school, the fall forum, explaining that, what do they do at homecoming, what happens. Those are the big things. There's big things that happen on our campus that sometimes as a new parent, you're just lost. you really have no idea what's happening. And so we wanted to make sure that we can help our new parents with those situations. The other thing that we would ask, that we're trying to, again, push this ambassador parent idea, is really trying to connect our community with the name of Northside. Many of you already talk to your neighbors and have conversations, and they know your kids go to Northside. Many of you, they see you coming in and out. You know, they know where you're going to school. They know your kids are headed somewhere. They might see a magnet on your car or something like that. What we really want to do is kind of ramp that up. And for an instance like open houses, where we would contact you and have you, Pamela Starkey will contact you, and she'd have open house packets, you know, of information, like a card, and then we would ask that maybe you can pass that out around your community, in your area. So that way we can have those folks understand that there's a connection to the school and have them, give them an idea that there's an open house happening at your place. The other thing, if you choose to, if you want to help us out, I understand that many of our communities, we're not allowed to put any kind of signage in the yard, and they tell us they can't do that. But many of us, we can, and what we would do is we would purchase a sign for you, just a yard sign that would say, "We love Northside Christian Academy, www.ncityknights.com." And that would put that in your yard. I wouldn't say put it out there for a whole year, but I would say put it out there, you know, maybe every so often, just kind of get it out there, you know, around special occasions, open house, you know that, and that kind of stuff, that you would just kind of put it out there to get the attention of the parents that are driving around your community, that that family or that house loves Northside Christian Academy. That's another way that we, as ambassador parents, can again, unite our community to where we go. The other part is becoming friends with us on Facebook. If you haven't done that already, many of you have, I think, in this group. But if you haven't, making sure that you're friends with us on Facebook to keep up with a lot of the information that's happening so that you can spread that news and spread that out there. We update our Facebook page. We try to update it every day. Every day we put something new on there about a teacher or about a student in the school or something that's happening. That keeps you connected with us. And at the same time, what we'd ask you to do is try to go out and pick 10 people that you can connect to our Facebook page. So 10 people from the school, other parents, that might not be connected to our Facebook page, that will now connect to our Facebook page. If all of us, 12 families, have 10 people, now our Facebook page would increase in numbers, and then our level of influence obviously would increase as well, because those people have friends themselves, and all of them are going to see the posting that we put out. So that's the kind of stuff that we're trying to continue to do as we improve getting the name of Northside out. And the last thing that we would ask is two things, kind of tied in. One of them would be a testimony. The testimony would be in several places. If you would write a testimony of how Northside Christian Academy has affected your children and your family, just a short little paragraph, or not even a paragraph, 3 or 4 lines, that we can use on our website, that would be fantastic. Many of you are alumni here. Many of you have had alumni, graduated from here. It's just a great testimony for us to put on our website, on our testimonies page. We'd also carry that onto our Facebook page and put that out there as a testimony on Facebook. And then also, we would ask you to go to greatschools.com. And if you go to greatschools.com, you have to fill out a little bit of general information on there. But if you put that testimony on there for us, what it does is, several years ago, 2009, 10, you know, that time, there were some negative things that happened. And sometimes when people leave in negative terms, they find the best way that they can get out negative information. What happens at greatschools.com is that information is out there. And I've had several families that have come to me that are from out of town that go to greatschools.com to look at different schools. And many of the things that are on there are positive, but those negatives stay on there. And the only way they get pushed down the list if other positive things or other negative things get added to that list. Right now we have a lot of positive, but those negatives are still showing pretty high at the top of that list. So what we want to try to do is try to go through there and add our testimonies so that some of those negatives get pushed down that list. They're always going to be there, and that's fine. That's what happened to that parent, and they want to share their thoughts. Please.
I'm sorry, are you saying great schools or grade schools?
Greatschools.com.
Thank you.
And as you go down that list, those things are just going to always be on there. There's no way to delete them. There's no way to take them off. But if we put more positive information on there, and we share with others how you did it, let them put their testimonies on there. That'll get those things down, put our positive things up. A lot of outside parents that are traveling, whether it's international or they're coming from other states, they look at those reviews is what they are. They look at those reviews and those testimonies to pick their schools. So as you go through that process, that's what we're talking about, this ambassador parent group. That's really what this group is about. It's about getting as much positive information out into the public as possible. Some of the things you might not be able to do. I completely understand that, or you're saying, I don't know if I want my name out there, I don't know if I want my testimony. If that's the case, we will not be upset with you if you get with Tracy and let her know, I don't know if I want to really be a part of this, I can't do that, I still want to support the school, I just can't do it in these ways. That's fine with us. But I think, for the most part, these are ways that we have seen other schools have done it. It's a great way. They say, you know, obviously I came back from a meeting in Michigan that had about 25 to 30 heads of schools there. And one of the things that we all agreed on, we were from Canada, from West Virginia, from California, we all agreed on the same thing. If we can get our parents involved in the building up of our school will build up faster. And that's where we're at right now. One of our